I'm pretty sure I met you when you were drunk throwing pumpkins off a roof.
Oh, God. Welcome to another episode of Let's Rewatch, the show where we watch movies that we loved in our youth and see if they're actually still any good. I'm Nick.
I'm Bret.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Ash.
And for our first episode of the great 2018, we are welcoming our guest, Stephen Ray Morris. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm super excited to watch this movie today.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a little biased,
Yeah.
I think. I was like, is this something that anyway, we'll save it, but I'm excited.
No, we can talk right about it. We did a Twitter poll, as we do sometimes, and the winner was one of
Muppet
your
Treasure
choices,
Island.
Stephen.
Yeah, Muppet Treasure Island.
Yep.
Which you intentionally put on the poll. This is something you wanted to watch.
Yes, yeah. When Ash offered me some suggestions, I was like, because you were like, it doesn't have to be a kid's movie, but I was just trying to remember, because I feel like I didn't watch that many movies as a kid. So it was like, well, and it's like, all right, Lord of the Rings, like that's out. Like we're not going to watch all three in a day.
Yeah.
Thank
you for not doing that to us.
Jurassic Park, Star Wars. So it's like, all right, well, what are other movies that I watched as a kid? And like that one, I remember a lot more than any of the other Muppet movies as a kid.
I am so excited because it is, as Nick already knows, my favorite Muppet movie.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And I just watched, it's Muppet Treasure Island and Muppet Christmas Carol are my two favorites.
I love Muppet Christmas
Yes.
Carol.
And I just watched Muppet Christmas Carol for Christmas. So this is like the perfect follow-up. I
And-
love it.
Oh,
Nick,
nice.
isn't this your favorite genre of movie?
But,
Well,
What?
I think there's
Muppets?
I thought the
There
Muppets
is-
are a genre, right?
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I guess
now.
so.
there's debate to be had here. But before we talk too much about the movie, I wanna introduce what Stephen is all about. Stephen is a
Yes.
musician, podcast producer, and writer.
I love it.
You may know him from the Purrcast, a podcast about cats.
Yes.
And you've got a new podcast that just started.
Yes. See Jurassic Right has been going for, I mean, it's definitely the newest project I've worked on as far as like, because I probably have worked on a million podcasts in the year of 2017. So I think
Seriously.
now I'm like just working on the things that I feel the most passionate about. And See Jurassic Right is obviously about Jurassic Park. And I love Jurassic Park. I just wanted to be like, how do I incorporate this thing that I like in my life every day?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, as everyone on the podcast already knows, Jurassic Park is also my favorite movie. Well, good choice.
Wait,
Good
I thought
choice.
it was
Well done.
Alien.
No, Alien is Nick's.
Nick.
Oh.
But you could argue
Also a great choice.
also a great choice, and you could also argue that they're like extremely similar.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, I was going to say in the book you were mentioning, Nick, I talked about Alien a lot in Jurassic Park. There's a lot of like, I don't know.
So
like,
this is
yeah.
the book Molding a Jurassic Universe, where
Yes.
you talk about how Jurassic Park influenced our childhood, our development. Is that the idea?
Yeah, and I would say actually that the podcast does that even more because it's literally just people sharing memories from their childhood. It's like people calling in and people like, again, past guest Omar was on talking about how like, you know, the first time he saw Jurassic, well, it wasn't that he saw Jurassic Park. It was that his parents were at the movie theaters and he remembers that his brother like hit his head and split his brother like split his head open and his parents had to, he told the story. It was so great. Where like in the middle of Jurassic Park, somebody came into the theater and had to tell his parents that they're like, oh yeah, well, your
What?
son's going to the hospital.
Oh my God.
Like he was totally fine. But like,
Yeah.
that's what Omar's like one of Omar's first memories of Jurassic Park was tied to his brother, like accidentally getting
Wow.
hurt. And like his parents had to be ushered out of the theater.
Oh, no.
Wow.
So it's like, it's a lot of that because it's just like, that's one side of why I love like pop culture podcasts and TV show podcasts and stuff like that, because it's people like have these intense memories like tied to the stuff that they love. And I was like, let me just do a podcast about that part, you know, about people just saying like, somebody shared a listener shared a story about how they got so scared after watching Jurassic Park that their parents came home to find that their VHS tape was all duct tape shut with the
my
VHS
God.
tape inside. So it's a lot of stuff like that. Like we had a friend who got married to the Jurassic Park theme, like down the aisle, like playing stuff like that, like
nice.
ways that people have like just incorporated this thing that they love in their life. So like,
Well,
Totally.
you just gave Ash an idea that
Oh
she'll
yeah,
never let go of.
definitely. Bryce,
I mean, it's. I feel like you could do it with like a cool instrument too, like maybe a banjo or a mandolin or something.
yeah,
Oh, a ukulele.
That would be nice.
So
yeah. Our mutual friend already stole the Princess Bride music to walk
Yeah.
down the aisle for, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
Pretty
Stole.
great.
I think that was an original.
An original. Oh well,
Idea.
yeah. I guess not stole is the wrong word.
you're like, oh, well, that's
Claimed
crossed
it.
off my list. Yeah,
They claimed it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so for a long time, we said we're not going to watch movies that we know that we're going to love. So we've never actually done Jurassic Park on this podcast, though we've kind of loosened that rule a little bit. One day, maybe.
Yeah, I
we
was
could do Jurassic
interested
Park.
to know why you didn't choose that. Was that just too obvious of a choice for you?
I mean, I just think I like live in that movie so much that it's just.
It's nice to do
remember
something
everything.
else.
Yeah. There's no time passed. Like
Right.
like the movies that
Right.
I wanted to that I suggested in Muppet Treasure Island. It's like, oh, it's been a while, so it's like when I watch it again, I'm going to be like, oh, is this
Right,
what
yeah.
I remember? Versus Jurassic Park. I mean, I don't watch it every day, but I certainly like live it every day.
Right.
So I'm curious if you're game for this little game.
Yeah.
Can you give me your one sentence review on the following?
Ooh.
The book, Jurassic Park.
Oh.
The Jurassic Park book has no heart, but it's got a lot of science.
Interesting.
Now, the rest of these will only be the movies. The Lost World Jurassic Park, the movie.
King Kong with dinosaurs.
Okay. Jurassic Park 3.
Surreal, artistic, black comedy.
Okay.
like that.
These are
Jurassic
not even
World.
sentences anymore. These aren't any sentences
Yeah.
anymore. They're just
Yeah.
like
Word association.
word association. Jurassic World is a serviceable remake of Jurassic Park for the modern audiences.
I think I would agree. I'm the one here, I think, who loves, well, not love, but I enjoyed Jurassic World, and Ash hates it.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
I think it's one of those things where I think if you're a really big Jurassic Park fan, I think it doesn't hold up as much.
My
Yeah.
main problem with Jurassic World is that they lost the plot of the original movie. And the original movie, as we were just saying earlier, the original movie is all about these are wild animals. They do not behave like humans. You cannot expect them to behave like humans. You cannot tame them. But Jurassic World seems to say, nah, we can tame them.
Yeah.
They act like humans, and that to me is breaking everything that Jurassic Park is about. And that's why I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think they did a lot of fun stuff in the movie. Like there's a lot of homages to the original movie that I appreciate in there. But that's my problem. I'm actually excited for the next one though, because it sounds like it's going to be more like the
Yeah.
second book.
Yeah, I almost think that Jurassic World needed to be made to sort of start making new stories again. It was
Yeah.
like it's like The Force Awakens in the sense, which I love The Force Awakens, but like it's just meant to be like, okay, it's a setup for a
the
bunch
next.
of new stuff. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom is a movie about rescuing dinosaurs, which is cool as hell.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
idea of like finally, like, what we loved about Jurassic Park, like you're saying, Ash, is like these are animals that we care about and we like love they're gonna do, they're just gonna be animals, and
Right.
whether it's eating you or grabbing a leaf off of a tree. And I feel like this movie is kind of, I think Fallen Kingdom is gonna like recenter that idea to be like, well, these are animals. Should we save them? Should we not? Like very like Werner Herzogian in kind of a way, And
Yeah.
there's like a big old volcano and stuff. Like it's gonna be crazy, but yeah, I think Jurassic World is like a movie made as like a transition into like just making new movies again.
That makes sense.
New dinosaur movies and stuff, or
I
The
could see
soft
that.
Jurassic Park
reboot.
movies. Yeah, basically, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll see though. I'm excited.
Yeah.
The trailer is really cool. I like
It
the
does
trailer.
look pretty good, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it seems like a compelling new plot for the Jurassic universe.
Yeah. Finally, it's not a. Well, I was going to say there's only two plots in the Jurassic Park universe. It's either a park either
Out of control.
a park goes out of control or somebody needs to be rescued.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is a little different in the sense that it's a dinosaur that needs to be rescued, but because Lost World and Jurassic Park 3 are both rescue missions. Jurassic Park and Jurassic World are both park shuts down.
Mm-hmm.
So this one looks to like change the you know.
Dynamic.
And it looks like they're bringing back the that real out of control element. Like Ash was saying, there's a little too much human influence, I think, in the
when you start
new one.
naming them.
Yeah. Verizon Wireless presents.
Yeah.
But I think there's another element that's required for a Jurassic Park movie. Like
Jeff Goldblum.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
like the Bourne Identity is always about like, crazy spy stuff, memory, but it's a movie about car chases and killing people with random stuff around the apartment. So
Hell yeah.
for Jurassic Park, it's about dinosaurs, but it's also about vehicle stunts.
Ooh.
Oh,
Right?
interesting.
There's
Yeah,
always
that does
cool
make
vehicle
sense.
stunts.
Well, if you
So
saw in the
that's-
trailer. Oh, I was
I
gonna say
haven't
if you
seen the
saw-
trailer.
Oh, you
I don't
haven't
watch
seen the
Nick's a
trailer.
purist. He
Oh,
won't
okay.
watch
Watch
trailers.
trailers.
All right. Okay.
Are there
well, I'm
cool
not-
vehicle stunts?
Well, we're going to see a vehicle again that we haven't seen in a long time. So
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed that in the trailer.
I can't remember.
I did not.
Oh,
I
wait.
don't-
Do you like talking about the trailers? Or do you not want to be spoiled?
He doesn't want to be spoiled.
Okay.
I don't want to be spoiled, but this is not a precious movie to me, so you can go ahead and talk
Oh,
about
I was going to say we see the. I think it's going to be part of a set piece of seeing the original Explorer that Grant and Tim are in Jurassic Park. You see that Blue jumps on top of that car.
Okay.
The wreckage, like the 25-year-old wreckage of that. So I'm curious to see how they actually use it in the scene. But
So you mean literally the same car?
yeah, so you see the original the Ford Explorer. I guess I'm not very good with car stuff.
Or it
The
might have been a
Jeep?
Jeep.
No, not the Jeep, but
Not the Jeep.
the you know,
Oh, right.
that the T-Rex
The one
kicks
on the
over.
tracks.
Yeah.
Yes.
The T-Rex kicks it over, and then now we're stuck in the car again, but at least we're not in the tree. Like that, you see that vehicle in the trailer for the new movie.
And that's the thing I liked about the book's Lost World, right? I always get the titles mixed up now that there's so many of them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's the thing I loved about that was like them going and seeing all these old ruins of the old buildings and stuff. And that excites me. So
Yeah.
I am excited for that.
Yeah. Even see not only old locations from the original movie like Jurassic World did, but then now Jurassic World itself is going to be a ruins,
Right.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Because the island's been abandoned for however long.
Yeah.
Because they certainly didn't keep Jurassic World open. They didn't reopen the next day after
Yeah.
that incident.
Yeah.
So I think we could conceivably talk about Jurassic Park easily all day long.
Forever.
But clearly Stephen has a podcast dedicated to that, and we should
Oh, look,
swing
I could
our
talk about
attention-
it all day, every day.
But let's talk about Muppet Treasure Island, or as autocorrect on my iPad would call it, Mullet Treasure Island, which would be an
Is
awesome
that a
idea.
porno?
Mullet.
Could be.
Mullet Treasure Island.
You got to
So
find the
that's the
treasure
porno?
on me.
Yeah.
It's like a really high concept, like white trash porno.
It's like a guy with a bullet named Island, and you have to find the treasure on him.
Oh
Wow.
Hey y'all, my name's Island.
no!
I listen to Jimmy Buffett and I've got a gun.
Yeah.
That's weirdly incompatible, but yet it works.
It's hidden somewhere on my body. Find it.
Oh, no.
No.
You were saying, Nick.
Muppet Treasure Island is from 1996, and we already started talking a little bit about this. This is one of, or is it the Ash's favorite Muppet movie?
Yes. It's my
Okay.
favorite Muppet movie.
The Ash's favorite Muppet.
Which Nick and I have already been in arguments about this.
I am.
really?
Yeah.
I am very, very much a Muppet fan. Like the way Jurassic Park is in your blood, Stephen, Muppets are in my blood. I am passionate about the Muppets. But there's something
Muppets
about...
and unicycles sum up Nick's life.
Okay.
But for me, there's some of the Muppet movies that I'm not such a big fan of, and they just happen to be the Brian Henson ones. It's the Muppet movies that are not an original story, the Muppet movies where they play characters in an existing story. don't hit me the way that I typically get from the Muppets. It's a different
That's
thing.
okay.
I
You
don't
can be
enjoy them
wrong.
as much.
It's all right.
Well, yeah, I guess that's my question. And because I'm not like, I feel like I've watched every Muppet movie except for maybe like the weird TV show that was a couple years ago. But like,
Oh, right.
is there an explanation for Muppet movies where like Kermit and Miss Piggy and everybody are playing characters, or is it just like now they're doing this now?
I always saw it as like, because of the Muppet Show and like they always want to put on theater and stuff. I always saw it as like, they actually got their chance to make a movie, and this is their. That's like a weird, like there's no canon for that, but that's the way I always sort of saw it.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
And I don't feel like it's a bad idea. I do think it is good and it is
It's
work.
just not
It
your
does
favorite.
work. And it is true to the tone of the Muppets.
It's Muppet fan fiction.
yes.
Yeah.
Muppet fan fiction.
Wait, so then
But-
what is your favorite Muppet movie?
Oh, the Muppet movie
the
is
one where
right
he
up there.
sings the Rainbow.
The
Rainbow
original,
Connection
right?
is in that.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Connection.
It's right up there with Alien and Almost Famous. It is a perfect movie, and I
Those are
worship
such
it.
weird movies to juxtaposition with the Muppets.
That's movies, man. Movies are
Yeah.
about different topics, and some are just brilliant.
Are they?
You
I knocked
contain
on my,
multitudes.
yeah. I was knocked on my ass by the new movie, The Muppets, the second most recent one.
Oh,
the
one with
one
Jason.
the one with Jason Segel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
That one was incredible. It was like a love letter to everything that I love about the Muppets.
Well, yeah, and then you had Brett from Flight of the Conchords doing
Oh,
music. and
yes.
everything.
Yeah.
Like-
So good.
And won an
That's
Academy
right.
Award for it, deserving.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
I never saw the second one.
It was pretty good. You know, it
Yeah, we
wasn't.
didn't see that either.
It wasn't
I
on
feel like I
fire like
saw
the
it.
first one.
And it was just okay. Yeah, like I don't really remember much from it.
It was more like a one-off, not like because the
Yeah.
Muppets. It was such a like you're saying, it was such a nostalgic, such a like almost like it was built to be like a classic. It was like a
Yeah.
weird, not a reboot, but it was like the Muppets. Like nobody cares about the Muppets anymore, and you're like, we do care about the Muppets.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. Yeah.
I'm so excited. One of my really good friends is getting married at Jim Henson Studio.
I had a friend who did that
this
too.
May.
You can do that? Well, Nick's
Yeah.
got a wedding idea.
So I'm going to be there.
That's so cool.
Whoa.
And I hope a Muppet makes an appearance. I don't know, but I hope.
No. By the
Could you
way,
imagine? Wait. Can you imagine being married by a Muppet? Oh
Kermit the
my
Frog would
God.
Officiate.
Oh
Nick's
my God,
face
Nick's
is lit
face.
up.
wow, if we can make that happen. Now, to our listeners, if you want to go to the Jim Henson Studios, I have a recommendation for you. I know I've talked to some of you about Puppet Up. Have you heard about this, Stephen?
No, I don't know what
Oh.
this is.
So Brian Henson, of course, Jim Henson's son, who is the director of the film we're about to watch. Brian Henson actually directed the two movies that are in the category that I don't like. He did Treasure Island and Christmas Carol.
Are you sure that was him?
Yeah, he's the director
Oh.
of those two. But the point I'm getting at here is he started this improv show, and it's probably around 5 or 10 years old at this point. So it is a adult language improv comedy with Henson style Muppets.
Whoa.
And I think I've seen this show 3 times, and because it is an improv show, it's different every time. And it is a lot of your classic improv, give us a suggestion, we do the thing, but it's some of the best improv I've ever seen, performed by some of the best puppeteers I've ever seen. And they did this last year where they did some performances of Puppet Up, open to the public, on the backlot of Jim Henson Studios. And that's happening again January 27 and 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
So if you are hearing this podcast and you want to step foot on the Jim Henson Studios and see an amazing puppet improv show, check out Puppet Up.
I'm putting that in my calendar right now.
Yeah.
It was
and
awesome.
last I
went-
saw, there were VIP tickets where you got a VIP tour with Brian.
Oh my God, really?
So if I was not in Italy right now, you better bet I would be there.
How much are those though?
Well, the VIP tickets were a couple hundred, but the regular show was probably like 30, 40. I can't remember.
Oh, that's not bad.
I feel like
But
it
it's a
was
quick
more
Google
than that.
search. It's just called Puppet Up. And so worth it. And just, get a glass of wine and walk around the back lot. It's beautiful. Just,
So if you
just
guys
to
want
be
to
in that space.
go,
Do I get a touch one? Just like rub a Fozzie's fur, just like
as long as no one's watching,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
make sure no one's looking, and then
Well, when I did it, you didn't get to go in the buildings except for they've got this huge soundstage that they turned into a theater for this show. But walking around, you can look in windows. There's a dinosaur you can walk right up to.
Cool.
There's a
What?
few cool
You didn't
things.
tell me there was a dinosaur.
Oh,
This
sorry.
changes everything.
a Muppet
Yeah, it's-
dinosaur.
Yeah.
Well,
That
you
sounds
remember
so
the? Do you guys remember the Dinosaurs TV show?
Yes.
So
It
creepy.
was, I think it was from that.
Oh.
Ah.
They did
Yeah.
the dinosaurs.
Oh,
for
I
that?
didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah,
But
that.
that kind of
those
makes
were Henson
sense. I
puppets.
can see their like
Mm-hmm.
the way that they move and everything. I could see that.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
their mannerisms, puppetisms.
Yeah, it's like they did Labyrinth puppets. They did a lot of other things. Although
What
I
was
guess
the
Star
catchphrase
Wars?
from that
Star Wars,
show?
yeah.
It was like the baby dinosaur just kept shouting that it was the baby.
yeah,
I'm the
that's
baby
Dinosaur
or
show.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird show, guys.
It was a weird show. I remember loving it though. To be honest,
Pretty good.
Is that on Netflix? Could you watch that?
I don't know.
Don't watch it. Let it
Really?
die.
This is not good.
I don't know. It's just weird.
I remember.
I
it
love
being
Makes
great.
me
weird.
uncomfortable.
Sam, the face you're making is so good.
Yeah. Sam's uncomfortable with the idea of dinosaurs settling down, and
It's just the look. It was like Roseanne, but with dinosaurs.
that
Yeah.
is 100%
Yeah, 'cause the
accurate.
flannel shirt.
Yeah.
John Goodman.
That is so
So-
great.
Why do you think that's a bad thing?
I guess Roseanne
Like, that sounds
also
awesome.
made me uncomfortable. I don't know.
I will agree with you there. I was not a Roseanne fan either. But I
Mm-hmm.
feel like maybe I was just too young to appreciate that show.
I don't know. I was like a kid, and I was like, this is not a good family. I would not want to be a part of that family.
Wow.
So
Also, when cartoon characters cross a certain human realism threshold, it always seems to creep you out.
Oh,
Their eyes,
interesting.
yeah, were really like that's the creepy part to me is the eyes. Like,
Oh,
they had like very human eyes.
yeah.
could be.
It's the uncanny valley.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So
But anyway,
of course,
Treasure Island.
We're not going to necessarily see, but we'll see the performances and hear the voices of our standard Muppet performers: Frank Oz, Dave Goltz, Steve Whitmere, Jerry Nelson, Bill Beretta, and also Kevin Clash. This was one of Kevin Clash's earlier participations with the Muppets. Everybody knows Kevin Clash as Elmo. He kind of became
Oh,
the
right.
Elmo guy, and there was a documentary about him.
That documentary is great, by the way, if you haven't
Yeah.
seen it. It's really good.
But this was, well, I guess he started doing Muppet stuff around 1980, but he wasn't one of the original core people and kind of became one of the core people in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
But
Who does he play? Do you know?
in this one, he's various pirates.
oh, okay.
Like his main thing was Elmo, but we don't necessarily know him as like any of the primary Muppet characters.
Elmo the Hard Knocks pirate.
Yeah.
Seen some shit.
But our humans here in this film, we have Jennifer Saunders, who you may know as Edina from Absolutely Fabulous.
What? I forgot she's in this. Oh my God. I'm so excited.
And
I
then,
haven't seen that.
Oh, AbFab is
Two-
great.
you know, I
Sorry,
was
Nick.
kind of thinking about this, and I was guessing Ash would probably have seen and loved that show, and nobody else
Oh,
had
yeah.
heard of it.
Yep, of course. I love the weird British comedies.
Yeah. But we also have Billy Connolly.
Yes.
This is brilliant
So
Scottish
good.
comedian. And I
Oh,
think he kind of appeared in America when he was the teacher on Head of the Class. When Howard Hessman left, Billy Connolly came in. But then, like, that was his introduction to America in 1990.
Was that
he
like
had
a
a small-
TV show or?
Yeah, TV
Oh.
show that he was only on the last season. He had a small part in Indecent Proposal, but then Muppet Treasure Island is his next significant American credit. So he was still very new to Americans in this
Oh wow.
movie.
Wow.
I assumed he was like a veteran at this point.
Yeah.
This was like a cameo of like, whoa, look at this big,
Me too. Yeah.
like, you know, like English star, Scottish.
Well, I think if you were in the UK, you probably knew him because he did a lot of British TV. He was this well-known comedian. But I don't think he was really well-known to Americans until Boondock Saints in 1999.
Oh, right.
I think that's when we really started recognizing him.
Right. That makes sense.
And here we go. Here's our Jurassic Park connection. He was the teacher in the movie version of another Michael Crichton book.
Ooh.
Oh.
A TV version. Was he in
no.
Andromeda Strain?
No, the movie version.
Oh.
The movie version of another Michael Crichton book. He was the professor who led the expedition.
Timeline.
He was in Timeline. Yeah.
Oh.
That movie's not great.
Yeah, I love that book, and the movie was not the book. It was it sucked.
It wasn't even a 90s movie, but it looked and felt like a 90s movie.
Oh, no.
But like not in a way that was like charming.
Yeah.
Not everybody can like, because Michael Crichton's books aren't charming at all. They're very cold and serious. But like you take somebody like Steven Spielberg, very scientific. They're amazing. He's one of my favorite authors. But like in translating his works to screen, like you need to have a charming filmmaker to really like make
like Spielberg.
Yeah. Like he added the heart to it. But like Sphere, that was Barry Sonnenfeld. Is that how you say his name? He did Sphere.
I think.
Sonnenfeld.
I think John McTiernan might have directed Timeline.
Oh, yes.
It was still terrible.
No,
whether he did or not.
Wait, who directed? Paul Verhoeven directed Die Hard, right?
No, that was John
Nick would
McTiernan.
know.
No, it's John McTiernan.
Oh, okay.
Wait,
no, Richard Donner directed Timeline.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Of Superman fame.
Yeah, he should have done a better job. Come on, Richard Donner. That hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so excited about Billy Connolly. If I remember correctly, I think he's pretty great in this.
So great. So great.
It's one of the things I remember most from the movie is his role in it.
Yeah, he's not in it long, but it's very memorable.
Yeah.
But Ash, who have I not mentioned yet?
Tim Curry. I was like, who? Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Only my favorite.
Luna and I just watched Clue, and it's still a freaking masterpiece.
So good. Did you watch it with the alternate endings? Or did you just watch it with
we rented it online, so it had all three of the endings.
Oh, fun.
And Mr. Green's ending is still the best. I'm going to go home and make love to my wife. But yeah, I did this. I went on IMDb. Of course, we talked about Tim Curry a bit when we watched Legend. But I actually put together a list of like his main stuff. And I found that Muppet Treasure Island is pretty late in the list of stuff that we know him from.
Yeah, I think he's actually the big cameo. Well, I guess he's not really a cameo, but he's the big star.
Yeah, he's the star. I mean, the non-Muppet star of this movie. Didn't he say this was one of his favorite movies that he's done?
I think he did, yeah. I feel like I've heard that. I know. It's so great.
You're on screen with the Muppets.
Yeah.
I think that makes me think that I'm going to still really like this movie just because it really, speaking of Michael Crichton stuff, like Ernie Hudson's one of his favorite movies is Congo, which I have, like, that would have been a suggestion, but I have come to love that movie as an adult. So I feel like it doesn't apply to this podcast. But when an actor is like, this is one of my favorite movies I was in, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to pay attention then. Like, even if the movie wasn't originally recognized as good or just lesser or whatever.
But Congo needs to be on our list because
I've never seen it.
Yeah, I forgot about that movie altogether.
And that's also our Michael Crichton connection. I remember hating the movie.
Well, the movie was
I don't remember it.
The movie was directed by Frank Marshall, who has produced every Jurassic Park movie, including Jurassic World. Like, it was because he's married to Kathleen Kennedy, and Kathleen Kennedy was like, "You can handle the Jurassic Park movies. I'm going to go do a thing called Star Wars."
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Frank Marshall directed Congo, which is just like, after Jurassic Park, there was all these like animal attack movies, but with heart. It was like Anaconda.
Oh, yeah.
And then Congo. I think
Sea.
Anaconda. Deep Blue Sea. Oh, I rewatched.
Oh,
I watched Deep Blue Sea for the first time.
Oh wow,
It's so bananas.
it is.
Yeah, it's pretty
It is
crazy.
bananas. My actually, I don't think I ever told you guys this, but my cousin, I have a cousin who's a photographer, but he worked on some of the underwater photography for that movie.
Wow.
Or like the cinematography.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did he have to tell people about the water and stuff so that when they put the bad CGI sharks in it, it was like, you ruined my photo?
That's like literally all I know, unfortunately. I don't know much more.
Oh, the
He doesn't
CGI
live in the
movie is-
same state, so I don't see him often.
The CGI in that movie is so bad.
Yeah.
It's
sure.
crazy that was a huge blockbuster that like
It was, wasn't it?
That's there was like 2 shark movies that came out. That was the one with
That's
Samuel L.
right.
Jackson, right?
yeah, Samuel
Yeah.
Jackson,
Okay.
LL Cool J.
What was the other one? Can't remember.
That was like during the prime time of every movie has a clone at the same time. as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Yes, like
Ants,
the ants.
Bugs Life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Volcano
Armageddon
and
Deep Impact.
Dante's Peak.
Mm.
Have you guys done that movie on here?
No.
Dante's Peak. You guys
I don't
should do
think I've
Dante's
even
Peak.
seen that, actually.
That's Pierce
It-
Brosnan.
It's a
Oh,
great
man.
one for the podcast.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I feel
probably
like
worth checking out.
All right, I'm
I
writing
tried
these down.
rewatching Volcano, and that I had to turn it off. Like we didn't make it through that one.
That movie made me mad.
Just the science of like, how could a volcano sprout out of the La Brea tar pits? That doesn't even make sense. That's not even the same thing.
I just remember there's a scene where the rocks are flying through the air and people are dying, and it's like it takes a scientist to be like, everyone, look where the rocks are going to land and don't stand there. And it's just like, really?
Wow. I don't even remember that. I didn't make it that far into that movie.
So let's get our expectations on what's going to happen with Muppet Treasure Island. Sam, I feel like you haven't said much. What do you expect out of this movie?
I had it on VHS, but I don't remember anything about this movie.
Wow.
So I know I've watched it way, way, way back, but it's not something I've watched probably past the age of 7.
Wow.
So I'm
That's gonna be
very
fun.
excited. It's going to be all fresh and new for me. And I love the Muppets, and they're hilarious. And I think it's going to be great.
I'll say that everything with Muppets in it up until that god-awful TV show from 2 years ago, everything before that is just pure solid gold.
Yeah.
So while this is not, by a long shot, not one of my favorite Muppet movies, I think it is going to be fun. It's not the
If
Muppet
it's-
movie I would have chosen, but I think it's going to be fun.
If it's even half as good as Muppet Christmas Carol,
Carol.
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 then I'm going to love it.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to bet they're pretty similar.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Well, what's interesting, if I can just chime in, is I just watched this cool video that someone shared on Facebook that I saw that had Brian Hansen and I'm assuming one of the lead puppeteers like rewatching Muppet Christmas Carol and like talking about the behind the scenes stuff.
What?
It was so cool. And he talks about how Muppet Christmas Carol really set the tone for Muppet Treasure Island, and how Muppet Christmas Carol was one of the first times that Gonzo and Rizzo were a comedy duo.
Oh.
And that they also figured out in that movie that it's okay for the rats to have their own universe going on. And so they just took that to the next level in this film. And the rats are having their own complete B story throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
And it's so great. Like they're in a completely different reality. And I
It's
love
sort
it.
of like the Doozers in Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, I guess
Oh.
Like
so.
they're off on the
Yeah.
side having their own world,
Uh-huh.
and it's fine.
It's so great though. It's like
Yeah.
it's one of my favorite parts about this movie is the rats, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, I totally interjected myself there. I really like this
No,
movie.
that's awesome.
I mean, does that stand as your expectation, Ash?
Oh, absolutely. I love this movie. I watch it probably once a year, I would say. I have it on VHS. So I have this movie. My parents like taped it off of the TV on VHS. So it still has the original when it aired on TV. It has Michael Eisner introducing the film. Do you remember when he used to do that? And he's like
God.
introducing the film like on the set of Muppet
Wow.
Treasure Island kind of thing. So great. And so that's how I've always seen the film. And then my dad later on, when I was in high school or whatever, transferred the VHS to a DVD. So I have this DVD ripped
Like
VHS
super
copy.
bootleg.
Whoa.
And
That's awesome.
that's how I've always seen the
That's
movie.
going to feel really nostalgic.
Yeah.
You know,
so
it's probably $4 at your local supermarket.
probably. But that is
You
the
can
same.
get this on DVD.
That's
not
the
the
same
same.
DVD I forced you to watch when we watched it. Because didn't we watch it the first time you ever saw it together?
I think we did. I know you made me watch Christmas Carol.
Oh, maybe it was Christmas Carol. Because
But I'm
I
not
also
sure if
have
we
Christmas
watched it.
Carol recorded off TV on the VHS, and I still watch it on the VHS because I'm still mad about the fact that they cut one of the scenes.
Yeah,
Man.
that's
But
like
it's-
me and Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh,
I had,
yeah.
like, a copy taped from the TV, and
The
then
clean
I got
version.
the clean version. Then I got
She
into
got the clean
college and I
version.
bought the DVD for like $2 from Target, and I was like, "This is so funny!"
That's cool. That's like a cool, like you're it's like you're seeing the same film for the first time.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
It
so
was
funny.
I
But
kinda
anyway,
miss the
I love
days
this.
of recording stuff off the TV. Like,
You what?
I miss the days of like popping
Do
a VHS
you?
tape
Oh,
in
yeah.
and like this is and then trying to like stop it during the commercials.
Yes. Yeah.
commercial.
So you just get like a
I'm like,
second
when I watch
of the
this later, I don't
commercial.
want to see any commercials.
That's smart. Yeah.
That's work.
For-
That's very proactive.
yeah.
That's
When-
very proactive.
When I recorded, or my parents recorded Muppet Treasure Island, it was like back in the day when they would play a movie and they wouldn't even interrupt it by commercials. So it's like the whole movie without
Whoa.
commercials, which is just like crazy. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
It's like 1979.
But anyway, yes, I love this movie. I know every line of this movie because I've seen it over and over and over and over again. And I know every song. So I'm sorry, but I will be singing the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm on board.
Nick's like, I'm so glad I'm not there.
So, Brett, what do you expect?
So my taste in movies has changed a lot as an adult, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this movie because I really like most of the Muppet stuff. But as a kid, I never watched this whole movie because I would start it and always get really bored and just turn it off.
Interesting.
It's only
Yeah.
an hour and 38 minutes.
Yeah, I think I know. Well, we'll see if I'm remembering correctly. But I think I know like the opening minute or two of the movie, and then it's just like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else.
That's it. You only made it a minute or two into
Wow.
the movie.
Like I know nothing about what happens in
Brett
this.
sucked, man.
I watched action movies and stuff when I was a little kid.
Well, to be the devil's advocate for you, this movie does like the whole love story between Miss Piggy and Kermit in this film does deal with like a lot of adult themes that as a child I don't know that it would speak to you. Maybe
I think it lost me like in like the
Before
opening
that.
song or whatever. Like
Oh.
The songs are so good.
But you like Mary
Brett-
Poppins.
Mary Poppins.
Now
was the
I'm
shit.
imagining. Now I'm imagining you, let's say 9-year-old Brett, turning off Muppet Treasure Island and watching The Substitute instead.
Yes.
And I fucking hate 9-year-old Brett.
This is a likely story too.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh my god. Well,
All right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
go
was-
ahead, Steven. Give us your prediction.
well, I mean, this was one of those movies where you're like, what was that movie again? Like when you were in college and YouTube first came out, because like my college time was like perfectly timed with YouTube, like freshman year, like first YouTube, like so you would try to remember certain things, and you're like, oh, I just want to watch this
The
like
scene or
Once Upon
whatever.
a Forest, or just like random Fievel Goes West. So, like to me, this is one of those movies in that category, and like. So my friend, like my roommate and I got like weirdly obsessed with like just watching all the songs from this movie. So we never really like, I don't think I probably have watched the whole movie since, but it's probably been like maybe almost 10 years now at this point. But like, I just remember loving the songs from this movie.
The songs are so great.
Like even though like you could accuse Cabin Fever of being annoying, but it's still super enjoyable.
It's
But like,
so fun.
and then all the other songs in it are so good. I wanna be like,
yeah,
it's just-
exactly. Yeah.
It's just
Oh,
so
we'll be
full of
singing,
adventure,
Steven,
full
together.
of adventure and fun, and
There's going to be some sing along here.
I love it.
so I'm anticipating I'm going to like it. I'm just curious to like, again, it's like the YouTube era of like just watching segments of stuff, but it's like, oh yeah, there's a whole movie in between the songs. So I'm curious, but I think I'm going to like it for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if it like changes your view on the songs.
Yeah.
You've got a different childhood or young adult experience. Like my experience I've talked about on this show is there's a lot of movies that I've seen, but I haven't seen the first 10 minutes because I've seen them on TV.
Oh,
you know, you're flipping through channels and it's like, oh, this is that Ferris Bueller movie. And you keep watching, but you've never seen the first 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also think like growing up, like all the Star Wars movies, the original trilogy, like as a kid, were just all like one movie to me. And it wasn't until I saw the special editions that it was like kind of clarified it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because they were all just played. Because they were all just like played on TBS, I feel like back and forth. Or like James Bond movies.
Yeah.
James Bond to be fair, all James Bond movies are the same.
Yeah. No, that's very true.
There's not a lot of variety there.
That's true.
I mean, I just got one of my Christmas presents was the box set on Blu-ray. So I'm just curious I want to rewatch all of them again. Wait,
the James Bond or Star Wars?
James Bond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All 24 Star Wars movies. Well, we are going to eventually have that many Star Wars movies.
That's true.
We're getting there.
For sure. Yeah.
So.
You know, you mentioned Cabin Fever, and it triggered this memory in my mind of, and I just since we're all about like remembering, I remember seeing this movie in the movie theaters.
Oh wow!
The Downtown Theater in Napa, Brett, when it came out, and I remember there's a puppet. I don't think it's really a spoiler, but there's a puppet in the movie that's a skeleton. And he has a line in the Cabin Fever song. And I remember it scared the shit out of me as a little kid.
Nice.
I was scared of this like skeleton puppet. But I loved the rest of the movie. But I remember leaving the theater being like, that was scary.
Oh my gosh.
I love
such a wimp.
That really is the magic of a film, is scaring children like that. The best.
But you love it.
But I loved it. Yeah, I still love it. It's funny now when I see it. I'm like, I can't believe that scared me. It's like so obviously a puppet, you know. It doesn't look like a real skeleton at all. There's like other skeletons in the film, like just that look real, but that one for some reason, I don't know why.
That was like watching Muppet Christmas Carol for me, and the child Bret and the existential horror of the Marley and Marley being in chains for all eternity after death.
Yeah.
I was just like, fine.
Well, they talked about that in that video that I saw. Where Brian Hansen said they were like worried that it was going to be too scary for kids. That
it was
part.
real dark. That stuck with me.
So if they were worried that was too scary, how the fuck did the Dark Crystal get made? 'Cause
I don't know.
That shit is legitimately
That
scary.
shit really did scare me. I don't think I've ever seen the whole movie
I
because
cried in terror.
it scared me.
I like watching The Ring tape.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right, so let's get into this thing. We're gonna watch Muppet Treasure Island, and we'll get back on the recording and tell y'all what we think.
Manly men are we sailing for adventure on the big blue wet thing.
Boom shakalaka laka boom shakalaka laka boom shakalaka laka boom.
Wait, was that like a play on like boom shakalaka? So she's like boom shakalaka. Is that just like a play?
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
I believe so. I believe it's a play on words.
So that was Muppet Treasure Island. Did you guys watch Muppet Treasure Island?
We did.
Yeah.
On and off.
Nick, this time I would like to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
Not the elephant on screen.
Yeah.
True.
The actual pygmy elephant on screen.
Yeah.
This movie stole a lot from Terminator because Sarah Connor was in it.
Sam can't let go that the little boy looks like Sarah
He
Connor.
looks like Sarah Connor.
Wow.
And the feathered hair isn't helping.
He looks exactly like Sarah Connor.
Neither is the mullet.
And sang like a beautiful soprano
He did.
soloist.
Yeah.
That boyish falsetto is exactly how I imagine Sarah Connor singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to be somewhere better than this. It's very high voice. He's very high voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was distracting and unsettling, and he's going to have a very difficult adulthood with that movie being in existence.
Oh, we looked him up.
He's doing good. He's doing well.
IMDb confirms.
The only thing I recognized, he's in The Detectorists. this British show that I've been watching on Netflix.
Did you recognize him?
No. That's the thing. Like, okay, he's in The Detectress, but he's going to be like 25 years older, so I have no idea who he is.
Yeah, what were your words, Stephen? Oh man, he's an adult now.
Yeah, oh man, he's an adult now. He looks pretty good. He looks good, you know?
So you actually found a picture of him adult?
Yeah.
A picture of him as an adult. He, like, you know, he's... You know, that's the thing. Like, that's the unfortunate. It's the Leonardo DiCaprio syndrome. It's like he's always going to seem kind of baby-ish to us because, like, his young version of himself is so imprinted in our minds that he just looks like it's just like an old baby.
Well, it doesn't help that he still has the mullet and feathered hair. You know?
Yeah, he was on the cover of something.
Kidding.
He doesn't.
On the IMDb photos, there's a photo of him, and it's just like, oh, that little kid's got like a grown-up haircut.
Yeah. No, totally.
He does look familiar. I still can't place him.
Well, you did just watch a movie.
I mean, he was great
You
in this.
can't place him? Dun 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 dun.
No, meaning as an adult, he looks familiar. Yeah. But you know what was I don't know, I'm not going to say weird and not necessarily surprising, but like Tim Curry was acting in this movie.
Oh my God, he's so amazing.
He's so
was
good. Better than I
really
remember.
good.
yeah.
Better than what?
Better than I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really good. And he's got this like perfect evil laugh that he can just snap into instantly. Mm-hmm. And it's not overly cheesy.
Like clucking laugh.
That was a perfect impression.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Well, that's what I like about the Tim Curry in this movie is that he's kind of very dangerous for a kids movie. Like,
Yes,
you kind of feel like he's kind of the perfect villain for a kids movie because it's like
slightly
Stay away from my child.
there's just something very kind of unsettling even when he's like being good. Like
Yeah.
it felt
And
very complex.
I could see if you are a kid watching this with no knowledge of the Treasure Island story, completely believing that he's a good guy.
Yeah,
Being
at
surprised
first.
by that turn.
Mm-hmm. Which I think I was when I saw the film.
But as an adult, you can see the manipulation that he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty good performance.
Yeah.
It
strangely
is.
enough.
It is, and it's funny because it's hard for me to watch Tim Curry sing and not think of that Halloween Worst Witch video.
Yes. Yes.
Everything can happen on Halloween.
Oh no.
We have to watch that one here for
No,
Halloween.
that's a
we
good one.
don't.
So when I was looking up Brian Henson, apparently he's attached to a movie called Witch.
Like-
In
the
production.
Like the
restaurant?
sandwich place? Oh.
I don't know. Like, is that related to this Worst Witch movie you're talking about?
I don't
Probably
know.
not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not even sure if it was called The Worst Witch.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah. I do think you're right because I saw that listed somewhere too.
Anything
It's a very-
can happen on Halloween. God, it's so good. It's like the best musical number.
And all of the lyrics of it are just things turning into other
Yeah.
things. Your dog could turn into a cat. Or your car could turn into a bat, I think was the next line.
Oh, I don't
Probably.
remember.
Yeah, Worst Witch. Wait,
And
they're making
this-
a new one?
I don't
Or
know.
they made a new one?
There's a new movie called Witch. A wizard decides to hold a contest among the 7 witches to determine which he will marry.
No, definitely
boy.
not the Tim
Whoa.
Curry film.
So it's like The Bachelor, but with, like Harry Potter.
That
Yeah,
sounds
and-
awful.
The only actor currently attached
They
to
give
it is
him a
Billy
wand.
Crystal.
Billy Crystal.
Wait a minute. This just turned around. Holy shit. Could be good.
Is Billy Crystal The Bachelor?
No,
I don't
no.
The
know.
Wizard Bachelor.
He's the wizard that chooses, yeah.
But I
Do
think
they
what's
just like give them wands instead of roses?
Yeah.
Like, I'm ready. I'm so on board for this now.
But even more exciting is they're actually finally making the Happy Time Murders movie. Have you
What?
heard of this?
I don't
No.
know this.
What?
I've heard of this case, yeah.
It's
They're making a movie based off of it?
No, I don't think it's a real life story. It's a
Oh, I thought or no, the smiley face, sorry.
Oh,
It's
okay.
It's a different murder.
No, it's supposed to be like a dark adult film noir detective movie with puppets.
Oh,
Oh.
wow.
Directed by Brian Henson, and it's
Well,
been
this sounds
like
good.
in development hell for years, and apparently it's coming out in August.
Wow.
Who's making it?
Brian Henson's director, Elizabeth Banks, Melissa McCarthy, Maya Rudolph, Joel McHale.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a lot of...
That promises to be a certain type of movie.
Sounds pretty good.
The certain type that could be really good.
Yeah.
Could be really bad.
Anyway, Mullet Treasure Island, how is it?
Mullet Treasure.
Yeah.
He did have a mullet.
It did have the mullet.
It did have
promised and
music
delivered.
composed by Hans Zimmer.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Did you hear the Pirates of the Caribbean influence in a couple of those scores?
I did not make the connection, but that's a really good point.
Now, is this Hans Zimmer like Hans Zimmer Prime or like Hans Zimmer the team?
Oh, this
This might have been this might be
Prime.
Prime. I feel like this is before the team era.
Hans Zimmer Optimus Prime.
Before the what era?
Like Hans Zimmer,
Hans Zimmer nowadays is a brand. Like his name goes on stuff that a lot of people make.
yeah. He has like a
Oh.
team behind him. Yeah.
he's like Lucas, you know, how he has his whole ranch of people.
He's franchised his name.
He's French.
Yeah.
His name.
Kind of.
He's got 188 credits, so
And that's how.
Well, yeah. All the pirate scores were all like 5 people worked on all those scores. It was like Hans Zimmer did like one thing, kind of like how for Solo, like John Williams is going to compose just one theme, and then John Powell is going to do the rest of the movie.
Oh, John
heard
Powell's
about
doing the
that.
rest?
Yeah, John Powell's doing Solo. Yeah, but John Williams is just composing the main theme, which I just find that that just feels more like a name, you know, like, oh, let's just like it has John Williams, so therefore
But-
it'll be good.
Yeah.
He just
John
walks into the
Powell-
room and is just like, "Hey, like I was thinking, you know, remember that Imperial thing? Da, 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 da. Yeah, work with that."
Yeah,
And just like walks out.
I enjoyed the Last Jedi and Force Awakens scores.
Yeah, and John Powell did the score for How to Train Your Dragon, which was amazing. So
Amazing score.
yeah, I
Pass
mean,
the
there's
torch.
great musicians out there. Wasn't it Michael Giacchino who did Rogue One, and it was really good?
There's great musicians, but when they get old, Nick says they're done.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well-
pop music would verify that.
That's true.
I mean,
Didn't
look,
Hans Zimmer? I was gonna say, didn't Hans Zimmer play Coachella last year?
What?
Yeah. He did a
What
whole.
a badass.
Yeah, he did like a whole. He did all of his like, you know, he did the Lion King. Well, this was post Lion King, so like Lion King was like 94.
Oh.
So then this was when did this movie come out
Wait,
again?
this was 96.
96. Yeah, so this was like prime Zim.
Right. Yeah.
well, look, John Williams is 85 years old. You have to admit, at a certain point,
Okay.
you know, people don't work when they're 85 years old.
I mean, in interviews, he's still pretty sharp. I wonder if he's just like, I've made a deal with the devil. They're going to keep me alive until after I finish episode 9, and then I can rest. And then he just like fades away. Like,
Can we talk about how? So I posed in the beginning that I always felt like this movie was like the Muppets made it, and then this is the movie. Like it's like, I think Steven, you said it's like they're real people.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I feel like this film treats it like that. Like I feel like
they're just actors. Yeah.
yeah, because like even in the beginning, the opening credits are like Kermit as Captain whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
they're crediting the Muppets in the very beginning of the film.
And I like that. I like that perspective. And I think that is the right way to think about it. And it really works that way.
Muppets Shakespearean acting troupe.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then like there's even like moments where they seem to reference like we're not actually in this time period. Like Rizzo has like the when they're packing for I'm forgetting his name. Oh, Scottish
Billy
guy, that's
Bones.
awesome.
Billy Connolly.
Yeah, in the beginning, and he like pops up out of the chest, and he's got like the funny, like
Well, this is when there's Henry Kissinger's on diplomacy.
yeah, you know, like.
Yeah.
There's these little subtle references to like we're not actually in this time period.
Shopping channel thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Shopping channel.
And I did kind of like the when they had the Swedish chef at the end. Then like, well, how did you think we were going to get him in the movie?
Yes.
Although I remembered having the same bit of disappointment I had, I don't know when I saw this the first time, of when they say, "All right, go below deck and talk to the chef." And I thought, all right, the chef on this ship is going to be the Swedish chef. And then there's Tim Curry. And it's, that's disappointing.
wow, this movie would have been so wildly different if the Swedish Chef was Long John Silver.
Oh my god.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
Just indecipherable dialogue the whole time.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what did he say?
I don't know. We had the pig nose.
Now I want that like version just for laughs.
Where's the 50 Mr. Mutiny?
So I like how Rizzo was just spreading the plague across everywhere, inviting all his rat friends on.
Yeah.
Sam pointed out that it's just like how the real plague was spread, was rats going on ships.
I was thinking the same thing, not necessarily the plague, but like that's how rats got on those ships, you know?
Yeah.
Like that's pretty legit for the time period.
Oh my gosh.
I just love they just have this whole other side story that they're just on.
A cruise.
They're on a cruise. This is like the dinner show that they're watching, you know, like I love that so much.
I love the jazz band.
Yes.
And they're all dancing. And
I was expecting an animal freak out though.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Yeah, Animal just didn't really do anything in this movie except play drums. He just did
here to play
his
drums
original
and freak
job.
out.
And didn't
missed
freak out.
opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like trying to fit all these Muppets into roles. Again, like real people. So it's like
that fit the
that to balance
movie.
the like, oh, what do we know of these Muppets versus what do we versus them playing roles, you know?
Yeah.
Just like
Which
is
they
like
did- They did pretty well
ahead.
with Bunsen and Beaker.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were great. It's just like why like it's just interesting to me that like Fozzie is like a spoiled rich kid. Like that's his role. Like
It's so different from his normal role, but it's so funny watching him.
fits.
Yeah, it fits.
Well, he was still, naive and dopey.
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly.
It was a good dopey character.
Mr. Bimble. Wait, did you think it was Mr. Bimbo or Mr. Bimble?
I think
Because
it
that
was
was our
Bimble.
See, I
Okay.
looked it up and it's both. They listed as both.
Oh.
Yeah, because there's one point where one of the characters say bimbo, but he says bimble.
Yeah.
It gets really confusing.
Okay, so I just picked up my phone with an intention to look up the role of Mr. Bimble.
Yeah.
But which of course I can't do. But you said you looked it up. How did you look that up?
Well, it's just on different like Muppetpedias.
Okay.
Like it's listed as different, and then on the IMDb trivia, it's also listed as like Frank Oz will say bimbo, but then you'll see in another thing it says bimble.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, what you were saying, Ash, like on set they're probably like, wait, which name
which
is it?
Nobody knows. I bet Frank Oz, because you were reading, Stephen, you said you found something that said that Frank Oz hated the joke.
Yeah, that like originally they all hated the joke. They're like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. And then
It's
they were
not
like,
a
yeah,
good
it's
gag.
Oh, I love it.
It's a pretty
cut-
lame gag.
But it's like weirdly endearing for
It's-
some
yeah.
reason. I don't know. I agree with you. It's like, what is the joke? But at the same time, I don't know. I kind of like it.
I like the thought that the reason why his name is two different names is because they were definitely gonna cut it.
Oh, yeah.
Or I like the thought
Say
that
whatever you
like
want.
Frank Oz hated it so much he just started calling him bimbo while everyone else was still calling him the right name. Who
Yeah,
knows?
switch it up and see if anyone noticed.
Yeah. I guess I love the fact that it's like so like everything else in this movie, I guess not really, but like relatively grounded in like Muppet like Muppet universe, but this idea
Muppetness.
that this idea that Fozzie is just like fucking insane. It's like so out there. I love that it's so random.
Or that Gonzo's really into S&M.
Yeah,
Yes.
what is with
That's
that?
what we all picked up
Gonzo
on.
is
You know,
so
I couldn't help
off
but
the
thinking
rails.
that.
50 Shades of Blue.
Wow.
I mean, he's got that weird nose. Who knows what could happen?
Who knows
Oh,
where
God.
he puts that nose. But yeah, there's a lot of like him being tied up and he was like really enjoying
Into it, yeah.
and-
The starfish.
stretching.
The starfish, which apparently he carried in his pants all the way till the climax of the film, where he used them
Oh my
against
God.
that other
Oh my
creature. So they've been in his pants the whole time.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
And they're
good.
alive.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Creepy, right? The other thing we have to talk about that you missed, Nick, which was like just a joy to watch Sam just freak the fuck out over Miss Piggy having real legs.
Yes. Okay.
Oh my God, yeah.
Why does she have human legs? She needs to have pig legs and hooves. She can't have real human legs.
She had like
then
regular proportion thighs and calves.
she's
like
just
people legs.
She's just a human with a pig head.
See,
and
as soon as
not
you
okay.
as soon as you said that when we were watching the film, it just like ruined Miss Piggy for me for life. Because
Are you
that
talking
is
when they were
disturbing.
hanging upside down?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen her legs before. And like I'm totally willing to believe that there's little pig hooves in those shoes.
Oh, God.
But those were real human legs, real calves, thighs, knees, not pig legs.
Well, the puppet version of them anyway.
The puppet version. That is not okay.
I don't have a problem with that.
She was just flipping out. It was so great. So great. Could not handle it.
You know, have any of you seen a normal vanilla version of Treasure Island movie?
I haven't,
No,
but
I
I
haven't
read
either.
the book mostly. I didn't finish it, but I read most of it.
I'm just curious that bit where they're hanging upside down with the rope over the fire seems like it could make for a really good action scene. And I'm curious if that is legitimately in the story, if it's in another movie.
No, the love story is not in the book at all.
No. The trap where they're hanging upside down with the fire burning the rope.
Oh, just the trap.
I think
in
I've seen that
general.
in movies before. I've definitely seen that in movies before.
Yeah.
But I don't remember. I can't, or like maybe not movies, but a TV show.
I feel like this was the first time I saw it in a
Yeah,
movie.
me too.
Though
I just
Yeah.
feel like
pirate
that could
version
make
of,
for a really great action scene of like, you know, one of them, the rope burns, the other has to catch, and then they climb on the rocks and stuff. And I don't know, it could
The
be a
Cliffs
really
of
cool escape from that.
Insanity.
Yeah.
It's the pirate version of the James Bond, and now I will leave you in
It
the room
so
with the
is.
sharks.
Yeah. What do you expect me to do? Die, Mr. Bond.
Yeah,
Expect
exactly.
you to die.
Because nobody actually wants to watch people be gruesomely murdered.
Wait,
Which
can
I
I?
saw movies.
Wait,
are a thing.
I'm so glad that you said that. Can we just like tangent? So I've never seen Saw. I did not know that Carrie Elways is in Saw.
Wait,
Yeah.
what?
Right?
Yeah.
Really?
What?
Now we have
Yeah.
to watch it.
No,
Yeah.
no.
The first
And
one before
I think
it
it's
gets all
also
torture
Danny
porny,
Glover.
I mean, always was.
Yes.
What?
Danny Glover. I like looked. I don't know how I found it out recently, but I was like, now is the only time in my life I've ever wanted to see Saw. It's just because
No.
The first
No.
movie's
So good.
pretty good.
Yeah. The first movie is really good.
I don't need to ruin
I'm sorry, Sam.
the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Wed pirate Wobbit.
No, he's a good guy. But I do want to address this thing
bad
you were
guy.
talking about. Like, there's always in the movie, they just stick them like, here's this trap and you can't possibly escape and I'm going to walk away. You know, and like nobody ever just pulls out a gun and shoots somebody, right?
Well, then the movie would
I mean,
be
to
over.
be fair, it's although this is the
Right.
only movie Muppet. Like, I was like, do Muppets hold guns in other movies? Like,
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a good question.
Or
But
like,
it
is
occurred
the-
to me in, what is it? Is it Return of the Jedi or Empire Strikes Back on Cloud City? Return of the Jedi.
no,
So-
Empire.
Empire. So they walk in the room. Darth Vader is sitting down at the table waiting for them. Han Solo just whips out his gun and starts blasting. No hesitation, no drama. He's just going to shoot him dead right there in the chair. And I love that. That's the only time in the movie where they say, nope, just going to fucking shoot him.
Yeah, well,
Of course.
Han shoots first.
Yeah. I guess it didn't quite work out in that scenario, but I don't know. I like that.
This movie had the moment kind of like that in the sense that like Kermit is like showboating, and then Tim Curry's just like watching him, and then basically like lets Kermit like, you know, in that moment like fail,
Yeah.
which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kermit's role in this movie is kind of weird, and one
It
he
is
he kind of doesn't have that much to do because it's really
The kids.
yeah
Hawkins.
Jim's movie.
Yeah.
Jim.
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 Yeah,
That would
he
be maybe my only
obviously-
complaint.
Like, he needs to be the captain in the story, but this is not a story where the captain is that important.
Well, and also that sequence where he's showboating is like he's expressing a personality that we really haven't seen.
Yes.
For the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, he's kind of an asshole in this movie. If he just like left Miss Piggy at the altar and like their relationship is so fucked up and weird.
It's pirate logic where it's sailing seas logic where it's like, yeah, everybody's lost their dad because everybody's dad in this universe has run off to go be a pirate or be a sailor.
That's true.
It's messed up, man.
It's like a
hard life.
Pokemon universe.
Yeah. All the kids leave home to go.
Well, there's no parents.
Oh yeah.
No adults anywhere.
Oh, weird. Oh, I guess in the games, yeah.
I always assumed that Brock was like the adult, but I guess not. But he like looks older, you know?
Yeah, he's like 14
I guess so.
because all the kids are like 10.
What is going on? Oh my god.
What's
Nick's
going
laying
on
down.
is you were. Oh, are you?
We got a lot of leg. We got a lot of leg there.
You're
my
Burt
God.
Reynolds.
Sorry.
Just need a mustache and a bearskin rug.
Well, I'm in the
Hello,
bedroom
welcome.
because the other room is so live. It was all echoey,
Oh.
so my legs are cramped. Sorry.
Whatever.
Deal
You
with
gonna
it.
show us the starfish in your
Podcasting is
pants?
pain.
Yes.
I actually like I think we were like thinking about like, what was like Mr. Bimble a reference to, and how you were saying how like,
yeah. That's why you
you
looked
know,
it up.
or like the
Blind thing.
the blind shot, like
Oh,
all the meta
yeah.
jokes, like were probably a reference to some pop culture stuff, but in a weird way, it works for me because I don't remember what any of their references
Would
are to.
Mr.
So
Bimble be The Shining?
I couldn't help but think of that.
Really?
that's-
Huh, I never thought of that one before.
Oh, I actually, but no, that's a good point. Yeah,
Right? Tony
Interesting.
lives in his finger.
yeah. Think about that. But I feel like the meta stuff, like usually in these movies, like in any like in Shrek, you know, like all that, those jokes don't
yeah.
really hold up. But for some reason, I think because like maybe I just wasn't watching what was on TV. Like I'm sure somebody who's probably like watched this movie with their kids or like if my parents or whatever, they were probably like, ugh, like a reference to some Newsline article during the day. And
Yeah.
Well, the perfect example of that is they're doing the song "I Could Have Been This, I Could Have Been That," and the one guy is "I could have been a contender."
it's like, yeah.
And it's like, really, on the waterfront jokes in a kids movie in 1996.
I don't know. I always got that though.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. And I've never seen On the Waterfront, but I've
Oh.
always gotten that joke.
Yeah, that went over my head. I've never seen it.
That's just a thing that people do when they're doing an impression of Marlon Brando.
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, it's just a joke that I've seen over and over again that I just got was like a common reference.
Yeah, it was just part of the grander pop culture.
Yeah, as opposed to like the blind thing, the like they prefer the term visually challenged
Yeah.
line was like, whoa, what was going on? Because I think Sam, you were like, that's so relevant even today.
I know.
Yeah, but my thought about it was like, usually nowadays when there's a joke like that, it's almost always a writer that's making fun of, it's one of those like usually one of those wrong side history jokes,
Right.
where it's like
Yeah.
there was something in pop culture where someone was rightfully offended, and there's a writer that's like making fun of their pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I wonder what it was.
I know.
Yeah, what was it in 1996?
Yeah, 6.
I'm going to remember at some point. Oh, wait, this movie is, we missed this movie's 20th anniversary by 2 years.
We did, yeah.
Wah, wah.
That's a shame.
Nick's not disappointed. So did you still hate it, Nick?
That's the thing. I don't hate it. I certainly don't hate it. It's so fun. It's hanging out with the Muppets. But, just to give you an example, you talk about how great the music is in this movie. But I don't think any of these songs come close to the music in like the first Muppet movie, Rainbow Connection,
I
The Magic
kind of
Store.
agree with you. I'm sorry, Ash.
No, I'm
Like
I
there
just don't.
are Muppet
I don't
songs
know
that are
those by heart.
masterpieces.
I mean, I know Rainbow Connection for sure, but I can't think of any of the other songs from those movies besides Rainbow Connection.
There's this song Gonzo does, "I Want to Go Back There Someday," in the first movie that is heart-wrenching and beautiful and is so much better than anything I've seen in Treasure Island or Christmas Carol.
why I think I really like this film, because I was thinking about it, and after I saw that, I keep talking about it, but that video about them rewatching Christmas Carol and like giving notes behind the scenes. But I really think I don't love this movie because of the songs. I love this movie because of the Gonzo Rizzo comedy troupe, and I love this movie because it's a parody. And like that's what I love. I love making parodies. That's what I do. And so I think for me that's why I really love this movie, because it's like, oh, here's this cast of characters I really love doing this really great parody. And then on top of that, there's this great comedy duo who's like pushing the story forward. And I think that's why I really like Christmas Carol and Muppet Treasure Island, is Rizzo and Gonzo are just so great. And Gonzo, I think, has always been my favorite Muppet.
It's kind of like the difference between Stand By Me and The Sandlot.
Yes.
Like Stand By
I
Me
could
is
see
very
that.
philosophical and serious, and The Sandlot is just like fluff, candy, fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's totally the difference between these
You
two.
are absolutely right. This is a great movie. It's a great, fun movie that stands in the shadow of much better movies, you know?
And it wouldn't, the thing is Nick, you're definitely right, because this movie wouldn't be good if we didn't have the other movies
That's
before
also
it.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
So-
they set up these characters for me to love this, you know, them in this.
And I think the thing to do is, you know, think of it the way you're thinking of it, or thinking of like, oh, it's an episode of The Muppet Show, and now we've got a sketch about Treasure Island.
Exactly, yeah.
You know?
And that's
this
just
is
the way
what
I
it
always
would be
kind of
like.
saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, this is, you know, they finally make it to Hollywood. They're making movies, and this is just one of the movies that they make.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a little bit elevated though for me, just because of how good Tim Curry is in it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think they allowed him to be such a complex character for what the rest of the movie is just like a fun parody. And then like the ending of the movie is so great. I mean, they allow for that a little bit more. I mean, I guess like pirate movies are always kind of weirdly complex, I think. Not like
There's a lot of double
like
crossing.
thoughtful complex, but just like in the terms of like double crosses and all that stuff. So that was like, I mean,
Yeah.
this is like, I obviously enjoyed the original pirate trilogy, but like this is just kind of distilled to like in a humorous elements of like what are great about pirate movies in a weird way.
What's the funny parts about pirate movies? And Michael Caine in Christmas Carol, same thing, is like that movie is so great because Michael Caine is just like bringing it in that film.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was working in that. He was so
Yeah.
good.
But it also, like, when you pair the puppets with the really good
Serious
actors,
actor. Mhm.
it makes you believe the puppets more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like,
Ah.
the acting of the puppets is so good.
Yeah.
like,
And Brian
Kermit-
Hansen talked about that too, how it like heightens the comedy.
Totally.
Mhm.
And, like, you just believe Kermit's little, like, silly faces more when it's bouncing off of a serious actor.
Yeah. Yeah, because Kermit's normally the straight man, isn't he? But
Yeah.
I guess this allows him to be less of that.
Well, he's like a weird like emo captain.
But it doesn't even have to be about straight man, funny man in a scene. It has to be an actor who believes in the content
Yeah.
and truly
And also
does
is
the character
treating
right.
them like they are another highly trained professional actor.
Yeah,
next
like
to them.
another actor on screen.
Yeah.
Believable interactions.
So you mentioned Captain, and then that brought me to Star Trek, and then that brought me to the thought of we need a freaking Patrick Stewart Muppet combo.
Oh,
Ooh.
yes.
Have we not
The
had
Muppets
that?
do Star Trek.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've had it. If
Pigs
we have, I
in
haven't seen it, and I want it.
Yeah, I mean, Pigs in Space is the Star Trek parody that you want,
Oh,
but you don't get Patrick Stewart because it was in the 70s. But
Yeah.
you do get a pig doing kind of a Zap Brannigan, William Shatner sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's fun. But yeah, I would love to see Patrick Stewart hanging out with Muppets doing some Shakespeare.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Patrick,
think?
if you're listening.
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
Brian Henson, if you're listening.
would they do like another straightforward? Not straightforward. Obviously, this isn't a straightforward adaptation of Treasure Island, but I wonder would they do like a Muppets do a classic
it would have to be Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
Well, the heartbreaking thing is that they said, okay, we're going to make a new TV show. And they didn't do a new version of the Muppet Show. They did a dour, cynical, piece of garbage that just happened to have Muppets in it. And what if they had just done a new Muppet Show and had all of these actors we want doing a new Muppet Show?
That's what I thought we were gonna get.
Me too.
But no.
Did
Why
they
did
not even
Kermit-
use Jim Henson or Brian? Didn't they go with a different company to do it too? Or like
Probably.
There's
Because
some weird
Disney
that I
owns
don't
the
know.
rights now, right? They bought them.
yeah,
from
Disney
them, I
owns the
think.
rights.
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
But that show didn't sound very Disney. So
No, it was like
but I'm pretty sure Disney produced it, though.
Yeah, it was on ABC.
Yeah,
See.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure
Huh.
it was a Disney thing. And I think the problem was I think what they were trying to do is they were saying, well, the only people who care about the Muppets are older people, people who are like adults now. So let's just, make a show that's geared towards adults. But they totally forgot, like, the thing that we all love about the Muppets is the fact that, like, they're great from every generation,
Yeah.
and I think they were trying to do The Office.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. They were trying to do 30 Rock / The Office.
And that
/
cynicism doesn't work with
serious.
those characters.
Yeah. No.
I feel like they're just focusing on how do we make the Muppets relevant instead of like
Yeah.
what do people like about them and how can we kind of modernize it?
They were going for likes.
Yeah.
And if they want to answer that question, go to Jason Segel and Nick Stoller and look at the movie that they made a few short years ago. These things can work if you have confidence in the material.
Well, yeah, and that just makes me think like that. They wouldn't have the confidence to do Muppets doing a classic book or story again. It almost feels like, it's not really like how I feel about it, but it almost feels like Muppet Treasure Island in another world. This would be like a direct-to-TV kind of movie.
Yeah.
But like,
Which I think it was.
I was gonna say, I
oh, it
think
was?
it was.
I'm
oh,
pretty-
really?
yeah.
Wow.
I
God,
don't
Tim Curry
know.
was so good in it.
I think these two were in theaters. Ash,
I
didn't you
don't
say you saw it in the theater?
Oh, yeah, you're right. I did. Well, there.
you
Are
you
you
saw it on
arguing with
TV.
yourself?
I am. I'm
It just seems like they wouldn't have the confidence to like Muppets do the Da Vinci Code or whatever.
yeah.
Right.
Although that would be pretty cool.
That would be great.
Oh my god, like Fozzie as like the Sir Ian McKellen like Catholic priest role, and like Gonzo's whipping himself like
Oh, no.
oh my god, the guy who plays Vision.
Yeah, I
Oh,
forget.
man.
I
I don't even remember that movie.
Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be
I
better with
saw it,
Muppets.
but what if they did Dracula? That would be fucking amazing. Or like
That would be
Frankenstein.
so good.
That would be so amazing.
I like Vampire Kermit.
Yeah.
Any of these could be sketches on a new Muppet Show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And
but I wonder what it was.
doesn't
I wonder what it was about Treasure Island and Christmas Carol. Like, it
Yeah.
just
Why did
seems
they
like-
choose those?
Yeah, but you're right. It probably would be a Shakespeare one if they did another one.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
think of something that is, first of all, public domain, and second of all, like accessible to a wide range of ages.
Are both? Oh, I guess those are both public domain, aren't they?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're old enough.
Yeah, but like if you read
Ooh.
the Treasure Island,
Yeah.
it's not like super kid friendly, but
Like Moby Dick would be another good one.
oh,
Ooh.
Moby Dick would be great. Who would play the whale? Miss
Well, I was
Piggy?
going to say they'd probably make Miss Piggy play the whale, and Kermit is.
But
He's
like a
searching
giant
for
Miss
it.
Piggy.
Yeah. Oh.
They just make a whale.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be an established Muppet character.
That's true. Yeah.
Excuse us for joking.
Yeah.
One thing that I find fascinating about this is the idea that you've got Frank Oz, who has become, this incredible filmmaker who's just basically keeps coming back and stands underneath Miss Piggy for all these weird random movies.
Well, he didn't
true.
do that for this movie. I was reading, and he actually, because he was doing Bowfinger,
Oh.
if anybody remembers that movie with Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
So he's just the voice?
he was just the voice in this movie, I believe. I was when I was skimming through the trivia, I saw that.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
interesting.
Well, at this point, he's no longer performing Miss Piggy. I think he stopped doing that with the second of the new movies.
Oh, wow.
But for a while, it was, here's this amazing filmmaker doing the puppetry for some goofy ass movies.
That's so funny.
It's probably just fun. Like, it's probably a lot of work too, but it's probably just like fun. I feel like that's why like Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny keep coming back to X-Files, not because it's good, but because it's just like comfort food.
Like Johnny Depp and
Pirates movies.
Pirates.
Yeah.
Oh no. Let's not.
It's just
speak
an
of
easy
that
paycheck. And,
horrible fifth film.
Yeah.
Even the fourth one was bad.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Pirates.
well, sorry to kill that conversation.
Yeah.
All pirates all the time.
Johnny Depp kills most conversations.
I like Rizzo a lot in this movie also because he's kind of like the audience. He's like, it's like we're supposed to be on a grand adventure, and then Rizzo's like, ugh, like just point me to the food.
Yeah.
Like I want there to be a Rizzo Twitter. Like I feel like it would be really funny.
That'd be
His,
so
think
good.
or his
might be.
Instagram account of like all of the food he's eating.
Yeah. Oh my god.
There is a Kermit the Frog Twitter.
Oh really?
And I
really?
follow.
Oh, that's awesome.
He doesn't post very often. Though.
Oh. But yeah, I liked his character, even though like again, it's that meta thing where like it could be like tired or like a little played out. Like I never thought it was. They spaced it out enough that it wasn't like.
Yeah.
And you can see the breadcrumbs of it in Christmas Carol, because in Christmas Carol he's like eating in every scene too, and they don't
Yeah.
always like bring attention to it, but like sometimes they do, and it's just like, like there's a scene where he's like eating jelly beans or whatever, and like sometimes they don't even bring attention to it. He's just like eating popcorn or like an apple or something.
So he's like Brad Pitt then,
He's just always
because like Brad
eating.
Pitt's always eating in all
Yeah.
his movies too.
So, Ash, have you seen Muppets Take Manhattan?
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
I mean, the Rizzo and Rat stuff in that is brilliant. Like,
Oh yeah,
they hadn't quite built that Gonzo team yet, but
right. Yeah,
with the rats working in the kitchen of the diner, that's
I'm gonna have to
I
go
forgot
back
about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it because I don't remember that much. Is that the heist one where there's like kind of a heist going
Nah,
on?
that's Great Muppet Caper.
Oh,
Yeah.
well then I
Muppets
don't
Take Manhattan is the second one where they're like trying to get on Broadway.
Oh, okay. I mean,
But
I know
there's-
I've seen it.
They're like working the kitchen and the diner, so he's like ice skating on pats of butter on the griddle,
Yeah.
Oh
Or
yes,
I
I do
remember
riding
remember
the
that.
egg beater like a bicycle.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, great
I think I
stuff.
just really love the rats because they just do the fun little, like, they were our generation's minions, I guess.
Oh yeah, I was
you
gonna say
know?
our
Wow.
generation's Scrat,
No,
from
don't
the Ice
reduce
Age
them to
movies.
Minions.
Why? The minions are brilliant. I 100%
Your
love
team
the
Minions.
minions.
But the minions are more of like a one note thing. I would argue that the rats have a little more depth
Okay, I think
and variety.
sure. Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Oh man, just see if any other notes I had.
All right. So what are our final thoughts on this thing? Brett, I think you were the biggest X factor here. You hadn't really seen it all the way through before.
Yeah,
That's
no,
true.
I definitely hadn't seen anything past the opening sequence.
Wow.
Wow.
And
yeah,
so how did it hit you?
guys, I don't think I like pirates very much.
Oh.
I like this movie. It's a good movie, but I think it's just like there's a element of pirate adventure that's never captured my
Oh
imagination.
my God, you're breaking my
Oh.
heart. You're breaking my heart.
Not a boat guy. Not a boat guy.
Yeah, I guess not. But the of the Muppet stuff that I've seen, this definitely like is not the highest of the songs. Like Christmas Carol is kind of like the one that I've seen the
Christmas
most.
Carol has really great
Yeah.
songs.
And that's I got a soft spot for that. And like if you compare the set of the set list directly, I think Christmas Carol has some real bangers.
Really gets the party going.
That's the quote for this episode. Christmas Carol has a few bangers.
But yeah, no, I think it was. I think what really makes this movie is Tim Curry for sure.
So amazing.
As in so many movies that he's in, it's like that's why I would watch it again. Is because Tim Curry did a great job.
You said the same thing in It, probably. Like the whole point of watching this movie is for Tim Curry.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
that and Legend, which I thought was going to have more Tim Curry than it did, and that was the only good part. You know, it's I just wish there's so much Tim Curry stuff,
but still not enough.
It's still not enough.
Still not enough. Well, he's getting old, guys. He's getting old.
Wow.
In Nick's words.
Anyway, good movie, but probably not my thing.
So I think my final thoughts are kind of known. It's, you know, it is a very good movie that stands in the shadow of better movies that it reminds me of.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, it when I say that sentence, it sounds like I'm pooping on the movie, but it was a good, fun movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree. I like Muppet Christmas Carol.
Carol.
I keep calling. I want to call it the Christmas Caper.
Oh, that would be a great
true.
movie.
Yeah, that'd be good.
I definitely like the Christmas Carol better. I think the music is a little catchier. I still really enjoyed this, but I think I kind of stand with 9-year-old Bret in that the beginning is a little slow.
Yeah.
Even though the house catches on fire and everything?
I really wasn't in until they were on the boat singing, and I was like, okay.
So I've
Deal.
actually got additional input on 9-year-old Brett there as well.
Oh, no.
Did you just receive a
is,
transmission from the past?
Even in this viewing, I could not understand what the fuck they were saying until like the woman that was in the house. Like everybody had these real weird ass accents. So like 9-year-old Brett was watching this and just being like, it sounds like gibberish. Like I don't even know what's going on.
Ouch. Sorry, UK people.
Get a bit of bread, you know.
See, I think that's an interesting comment though, because like a lot of films, I like a lot of the British comedy stuff, and Bryce often is like, I'm having a hard time understanding them, and I've never had a hard time understanding British or Scottish accents.
You have to do 23andMe and find out if you're as Irish as I am.
Well, I looked up. I haven't done 23andMe, but over this Christmas break, I looked up my last name, Blodgett, and it turns out that it is English. It's like Welsh or something.
There you go.
And that there's like a family crest even, and that my ancestors were like nobles or something.
Oh, shit, girl, you a princess.
I know. So I'm the British princess I always wished I would be.
Your name is also on a lot of like bagel machines.
Is it really?
What?
And you know,
Yes.
there's
So
a
I'm
lot
Jewish,
of
maybe?
there's a lot of people in the UK who would be very angry to hear you say that Welsh and British are the same
I
thing.
know. I'm sorry. I corrected myself. I'm sorry.
But also, to be fair, part of the appeal of Billy Connolly to an American audience is the shtick that he
The
does when
accent.
you can't understand what he's saying.
That's true.
But
You
like,
know?
you know,
Jim.
Michael Caine is a great actor. My cocaine is a class 1 drug. Like it's a felony. It's it's hard for kids to understand that.
Yeah. Wait.
Wow.
Back up. What?
I can't understand what British
Michael
people are
Caine.
saying half of the time.
That's
hard for me.
unfortunate because they're really. How did you handle Matt Berry then? Because he's like really enunciating the whole time.
He overkills it. It's hilarious.
Is this why you don't like Outlander?
Whisker?
Outlander's got other problems.
Oh gosh. No, Sam. Outlander is porn for women.
Have you not seen HBO, girl?
Well, yeah, but
HBO and Stars.
but like Outlander is specifically definitely targeted towards women.
And you should pick up a copy of True Blood.
My problem with
I've never
Outlander
seen it.
is the main character lady has to explain the plot a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, with her voiceover.
She's like, it turns out that everything was totally different than what I thought. And we didn't show you on screen, but I'm telling you now.
Or like
But
they will show us on
Do you know
screen.
anything about the Jacobite Rebellion? Because I kind of need her to educate me a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's some important information.
But that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is they didn't even do it on screen, or at least the episode that I saw. And she's just like, oh, and then I realized that this was that historical thing, and that happened, and we're not going to show it on screen, but I'm talking about it.
Anyway, this was our Outlander
Outlander
fan
tangent.
cast. Yeah.
So, Ash, did you give us all of your thoughts?
No, I don't think so. I love this movie. I still love this movie. Steven and I were singing along.
Yeah, we were saying. I mean, it was it kind of, I mean, this is a little bit different, but it was like when I saw Lion King in 3D, when it first started, you could kind of hear people being like,
Yeah.
and then it's like, and then like I just can't wait to be king. It's like I just can't. You know what? Fuck it. And like half the audience just started singing along out loud in this
so
movie theater
awesome.
because it was like so many people were seeing that movie like who had seen it as a kid. Like that was my Disney movie because that's when my dad took my sister and I to Orlando. Like when we were, you know, when we were like.
Did you
I
see
guess,
the
like,
Lion King parade?
Yeah. I saw Lion
It
King
was
parade.
so good.
Yeah. And so, like, it was kind of like watching this movie right now. Just like it was almost like, well, I could sing along to the whole movie, but I guess I'll restrain a little bit.
Yeah, I was
But
like,
we were like trading. We were like,
Yeah.
all right, we're gonna.
That's
I was
so
doing it
weird because
quietly.
the music in Lion King is so much better than this.
Oh, Hans Zimmer.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Wait, and this I think they came out the same. No, Lion King was 94. They were saying. So this came right after. So
Yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, The Lion King is. I mean, that's my favorite Disney movie, just because it was like the most connected to growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I love this movie too. I can see its like flaws definitely more, but I think because Tim Curry's like performance is so good, it's just like it makes it worth watching, like you were saying, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I enjoy it. I definitely, yeah. Again, I think I see the flaws in it and stuff. I see that like Kermit kind of has nothing to do in this movie, like. But
Yeah.
it's just the nature of the movie itself, and
I guess that doesn't really bother me
no,
because
it doesn't
like
bother me. But
I know this will kill Nick, but like Kermit is not my favorite character. So for me, it's like I'm much happier with Gonzo and Rizzo being in the spotlight. But you know,
is your favorite Muppet Kermit?
oh yeah,
You're asking me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nick, is that your favorite puppet or Muppet?
I mean,
Not puppet,
I
excuse
guess,
me.
Don't you fucking call them puppets.
how dare you?
How dare you?
Yeah, I guess I would have to go with Kermit, but there are others that have special place in my heart. I mean,
I don't know who my
Swedish Chef, Beaker, you know.
Nick dressed up as the Swedish Chef for Halloween once, and it was so on point. I will have
What?
to post the picture. If
Yes.
You haven't seen that picture?
No.
Oh, it's so good. This was
I'll
how
send it
I
to you.
met Nick. I
Oh my
met
God,
Nick
that's how I
dressed
wanna
up as
have
the
met
Swedish Chef,
Nick.
and like you couldn't see his face because I forget what you had on your face, but like
It was a lot of
like
yarn.
yeah,
You put
mustache
yarn on your
for the
face?
mustache.
I'll
was so
send you the
great.
picture.
Oh, I have
And
to see that.
I
That's
just
great.
remember
I even
being
had
like-
a chicky in a pot.
Yeah, I was like, who dressed up as the Swedish Chef? That guy is so cool. Somebody was like, oh yeah, that's Nick. It was like the best way to meet you.
Wow. I'll send the Swedish Chef picture. I'll also send, I think I have a picture of Ash's costume at the same party, which was Amelia Earhart, which was
Oh
pretty
yeah,
awesome.
I was
Wow,
Amelia
that's
Earhart,
awesome.
which
And if
nobody
you want,
got.
you could post those on Twitter.
Okay, I will.
All right.
I'm glad you have. Do you have a picture of mine? My costume?
I might. I found a folder because I was showing Luna earlier, and it's got a
Oh.
bunch of pictures from that party.
Oh,
So
awesome.
it might be in that folder.
Well, I was Amelia Earhart for the work party, but for the party with the pumpkins was when Bryce and I were Daft Punk.
Yeah, those were two
pretty
different
awesome.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
But anyway, I still love this movie.
All right.
It still has such a beautiful place in my heart. I love it so much. And I don't know if you kept watching, Nick. I've forced everyone to sit through the credits to watch the button with Tim Curry.
No.
Oh, so there's a little button with Tim Curry, and it's
Wow.
like he lives on the island now, and there's like this, the like carved rock things that are in the movie.
Easter Island heads.
Yeah, the Easter Island heads. It's like an Easter Island head, like just telling horrible dad jokes, and Tim Curry having to deal with that on the island for the rest of his life. I just love that. So that's like honestly my favorite part of the whole movie is the fact that Tim Curry has to live on this island with this Easter Island head telling dad jokes for the rest of his life. I don't know. It's just so great.
Nice.
I love it.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us for Muppet Treasure Island. I think we had a good time. Stephen Ray Morris, tell us where we can find information about you and where we can find your shows and your book.
Oh, thank you. Sure. This has been so much fun. Well, I mean, yeah, again, like the moment we were just like, all right, the movie's starting, we're singing along.
Yes.
This is happening. I was
Yeah.
like, this is the best. You can always find me on Twitter at Stephen Ray Morris. That's Stephen with a V, Ray with a AY. yeah, you can check out See Jurassic Right and the Percast. Just they're everywhere. If you just type them in, they'll pop up.
Now I
wherever
had
you
to
listen
search
to
for
podcasts.
that just to make sure I knew I was hearing it right. See, as in like go see a movie. Jurassic Right, the direction right.
Yeah, it's a reference to a Mountain Goat song, which is a reference to a Greyhound bus slogan from the 50s. It's
Whoa, meta.
I know. I got very
kidding.
strange about it, but yeah, See Jurassic Right, the Percast.
Burr with 3 R's.
Yeah, with 3 R's. Yeah, just go. Yeah, you can just go look them up there, and
Or go to your website.
yeah,
There's like links.
which
all
I
of them
have to
there.
update my website.
Yeah.
It's like from over a year ago, but you can.
That is not that
bad.
long.
It can lead you to places. So, but yeah. Anyway, thank you guys for having me on. This was so
Yeah,
fun.
thank you. It was
for
so
coming.
fun.
And thanks for the extra Jurassic Park chat. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's always
Oh.
fun to talk to someone who loves these movies the way we love these movies.
If we ever decide to do Jurassic Park, we'll have to have you back.
Yes, I would love that. I could talk about it
Awesome.
forever.
It'll be like the longest episode probably because we'll
5-parter.
continue. Yeah.
That'll be all right.
Oh, maybe we could do that before the new movie comes out.
Ooh.
Fallen Kingdom
Ooh.
comes out June 22nd.
I was like, oh no, January.
yeah,
Too soon.
June 22nd.
Oh,
I've-
great.
I've only seen the remake or the reboot and the original. I haven't seen anything in
Oh, maybe
between.
we
You
should
guys
watch
should
one
do
of the sequels.
You guys should do like Jurassic Park 3.
Ooh,
Like that one would
yeah.
be a good one for this podcast of like
Because I think that's the one I
It's not
haven't
sacred.
seen
Yep, exactly.
in
Yeah.
the longest.
Is 2?
Oh. Do do do.
Who's calling me?
Do 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 do.
No. It's RJ.
Oh, always calling at the worst time.
Yeah, is 2 a sacred film?
Two's actually pretty good.
it's good, but also it's like it's good, but it also might be one of the worst Spielberg films too, which is saying a lot because Spielberg is great. Like
Yeah.
how you were saying with the Muppet movies, it's like Muppet
Yeah.
Treasure Island, might not be the best Muppet movie, but it's like it's still a Muppet movie, and that's kind of how I think a lot of people feel about Lost World. It's like, well,
Yeah.
It
it's
has
still
to
Steven
exist
Spielberg.
in a world with Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I think of 2 and I think of only the one, the RV or the,
RV
yeah,
scene.
the trailers, yeah.
and then I don't remember anything else
Yeah.
about it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's such a great scene.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so
yeah,
iconic.
you're right. Vehicle stunts.
It was, I saw 2 recently and it was just better than I expected it to be, which surprised me because like I didn't think it was going to be very good.
It flips on me every time.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, this actually isn't as horrible as I thought.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Goldblum really can carry the whole film. Like I was
Yeah.
worried, not that Goldblum can't carry a whole film. It's just, I was like, how is that character, Ian, going
Yeah,
to
yeah.
carry a whole film? But they managed it.
They managed it, and he's going to be back.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, man. I didn't know that. That's exciting.
yeah.
All right, Brett, sorry.
Oh.
It's your wrap up time.
Oh, yeah, it is wrap up time. All right. Yeah, if you like the show, this is part of the Laugh Stash TV network of content. It's the podcast and a YouTube channel where we've got a cooking show and a drinking show, video game parodies, and lots of other fun stuff.
Yeah, we the exciting updates about the YouTube channel. Number one, we started doing the Hunger Games, which is our cooking show, live. So we live stream it every month. We do a live stream episode for it. We're working on nailing a normal time down, but until then, just keep looking for updates. But yeah, so we're doing another one this month. So look out for that. And then another fun thing is a new episode of Let's Drink is coming out soon this month. We are going to be releasing our spicy beers episode, where if there was
Oh,
ever
no.
if there was ever any doubt
Oh,
that I
no.
enjoy torturing Brett, this is the 100% confirmation.
Is this the one where I
remember this one.
wiped my forehead and then the chili oil got in my
Yes.
eyes?
Oh,
yes,
no.
yes. And then we made him sit there for the whole outro of the show, just dying.
Yeah, and they stretched it out for 20 minutes.
And-
I was
And on top of that, they
raw
didn't.
habanero pepper that I had on my finger. Yeah, it sucked.
On top of that, they didn't have milk. So all we had was butter. So we're just rubbing butter all over our faces.
my god!
It's
I can't
great.
wait to
It's
see
very
this.
embarrassing.
It's really great.
I've been
Anyway,
waiting for this one.
yeah, so it's really great. It'll be coming out soon. It's really funny. I just finished the edit, so now I got a color correction and audio pass. So give me another week, but it'll be out soon, hopefully.
All right.
And then my other thing. That's right. And also, if you enjoyed this, you can follow us on Twitter. We're at Last-TV on Twitter, or you can follow this podcast at at Let's Rewatch on Twitter. And also, I wanted to just give a huge shout out to everybody who's been participating in our Facebook group. If you didn't know, we have a Let's Rewatch podcast Facebook group. It's a closed group, so just search for it and you can request to be added, and then I will add you in. But there's been lots of great discussions. Somebody just recently was asking, like, what is everyone's top films of 2017? And I just really appreciate all the interaction and everybody
Good comments there.
keeping it cool. Because people nowadays on the internet can get awfully angry about not liking a movie. So high five to you guys for being civil.
Friendly comment.
Yeah.
Also, it's my New Year's resolution to be more Twitter. So keep me honest, peeps. Feel free to tweet at me and test my tweeter abilities.
Yeah, at Sam L. Wilson. Get some tweets going because she's got like 5 on her.
It's like my third
tweet
tweet ever,
volume.
and Target tweeted back at me, so I'm like tops.
That's pretty amazing.
I mean, Target is top, so.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, if you liked our podcast, please give us a glowing, wonderful review on iTunes or Google Play Music, or look us up on Libsyn.
Yeah, our website's on Libsyn. It's also on Stitcher. There's a whole bunch. There's
All the podcast
stuff.
places.
Podcast feed things. Yeah, so make sure your podcast feeds are up to date and tell your friends we'll be doing this again in another 2 weeks for another episode of Let's Rewatch.
Yeah, did you guys like Kevin Bishop in this movie? Because I figured we'd watch another one of his movies next time. The very politely phrased, "May I kill you?"
Oh, no.
Yes?